The letter arrives on a Tuesday morning. You're still in bed, halfway between sleep and the day ahead. Your mom calls your name from downstairs. The sound already carries something in it. You know it before you see it. You've seen the same envelope on the news, in movies, in the hands of boys older than you. Now it's here. She walks in, holding it like it might burn. Her eyes are red. She doesn't say anything. You sit up, take it from her, try to smile. But your hand shakes just enough to give you away. The paper feels heavy, like it knows something you don't. You tear it open, heart thudding, eyes scanning lines you don't want to understand. Greetings. You are hereby ordered for induction into the Armed Forces of the United States. Your stomach drops. That's it. You've been drafted. 18 years old. You just finished school. You were supposed to start a job at the garage next month, save up for a car, maybe move out by winter. You had time. You thought you did. You have 30 days. 30 days to say goodbye to everything that made sense. Your friends still talk about football, girls, college. They act like the world hasn't shifted. You pretend it hasn't either. You laugh at the right times, nod, try to join in. But there's this invisible wall now. You on one side, them on the other. Your girlfriend says she'll write every week. She says a year will fly by. You want to believe her? But the way she looks at you when she says it, that flicker of fear behind her smile, tells you she's trying to convince herself too. At night, you stare at the ceiling. You think about the news, grainy black and white footage of a jungle half a world away. Men your age crawling through mud, faces smeared with sweat and fear. You used to change the channel. Now you can't. You study every frame, trying to understand what's waiting for you. Your mom leaves the letter on the kitchen counter like a ghost. Your dad doesn't talk about it. The silence in the house grows louder each day. The night before you're set to leave, your dad sits you down. He served in World War II. He never talked about it much, but you always knew. He looks at you now, the way men look at old photographs, half pride, half grief. He tells you to keep your head down, to listen, to write home. He doesn't tell you what to do when the fear hits, or how to watch someone die. Maybe he can't. Maybe there aren't words for that. You ask him what it's like, really like. He looks past you, toward the window, and says quietly, "You come back different." You don't ask what that means. You already know you'll find out. Later that night, your mom knocks on your door. She doesn't say anything, just sits beside you on the bed. Her hand rests on yours. The clock ticks between you. The silence says everything. Morning comes fast. You barely sleep. The air feels too still, too normal, like the world doesn't realize you're about to leave it. Your suitcase is small, a few shirts, a razor, a photo of your girlfriend folded in the pocket. Your dad carries it to the car. Your mom cries quietly in the passenger seat. The drive to the bus station feels longer than it should. You pass the same shops, the same school, the same diner where you've spent 100 afternoons. Everything looks the same, but you know it's not. You're seeing it for the last time as you. At the station, a line of young men waits, all holding the same envelope. Some look terrified. Others are pretending not to be. You try to decide which you are. Your mom hugs you and doesn't let go. You smell her perfume and wonder if you'll ever smell it again. Your dad shakes your hand, firm, unspoken words between fathers and sons. You see the tremor he's hiding. Then the driver shouts names, doors open, and the line moves. You climb aboard, take a seat near the back. Outside, they wave. You wave back until you can't see them anymore. The bus pulls away. The town fades. You watch your reflection in the window, still wearing the same clothes, still the same face. But something inside has already shifted. You think about the letter, the words printed in black and white that turned your world inside out. You fold your hands together, look down and whisper, "Guess this is it." The bus keeps moving. The road stretches ahead. And behind you, everything you were disappears into the distance. The first thing they take is your hair. Then your name. Then whatever part of you still thinks this is temporary. You arrive at the base in a bus full of boys who look just as lost. The sergeants don't even wait for the doors to open before they start shouting. You step into a world where every sentence ends with a command. Hair hits the floor in clumps. The mirror shows a stranger with tired eyes. Someone laughs, someone else curses, and then you're all herded outside into formation. The air smells like dust and metal polish. They tell you that you're not a person anymore. You're property now. Government issue, replaceable. You learn how to stand still for hours, how to move on a single word, how to strip a rifle and put it back together before sunrise. The days blend into each other. Revel, chow, drills, inspection. Run, march, crawl, clean, repeat. You meet Jackson from Ohio, Ruiz from California, and Tommy from Brooklyn. You don't have much in common except the same haircut and the same fear. But that's enough. By the second week, you're already finishing each other's sentences and sharing smuggled cigarettes behind the barracks. At night, you write home. Short letters, just enough to sound brave. You never mention the blisters, or the shouting, or the way you sometimes wake up gasping because the dreams feel too real. Somewhere between week 4 and week 5, the shouting stops feeling personal. You stop flinching. You start moving before being told. You don't notice it happening, but you're changing. The rifle becomes an extension of your hands. You can take it apart blindfolded, clean it faster than you can tie your boots. They teach you how to aim for the chest, how to read wind, how to pull the trigger without hesitation. You tell yourself it's just training, just numbers on a target. But the targets are shaped like people for a reason. Grenade drills follow. You throw, you duck, you feel the ground shake under your boots. Someone forgets to pull the pin right and gets screamed at until he nearly cries. Nobody laughs. You start timing your life in heartbeats and orders. You eat when told, sleep when allowed, think only in fragments. One morning, after a 5-mile run, the sergeant actually nods at you. A single nod. Approval. You don't know whether to feel proud or disturbed that it means so much. That night, Jackson whispers, "We're not kids anymore." You nod, but you don't answer. Because you're not sure what you are now. Graduation day. 8 weeks gone, just like that. They line you up in formation under a wide, pale sky. A captain reads out assignments. Germany, Korea, Fort Benning. Then, Vietnam. Your name lands in that last group. Your stomach tightens, but you don't react. Nobody does. You've all been trained not to. Afterwards, you find a corner near the barracks and light one of Jackson's cigarettes. The smoke tastes sharp. You watch it rise and disappear. Letters arrive that afternoon. Your mom says she's proud. Your dad says to keep your head down. Your girlfriend writes that she loves you, no matter where you are. You read them twice, fold them carefully, and slip them into your pocket. That night, the barracks hums quietly. Some guys play cards. Others stare at nothing. The air feels thick with pretending. Pretending you're ready. Pretending you're not scared. Pretending you'll all come back. Lights out hits, and nobody sleeps. The flight takes forever. Hours of engine noise and recycled air. The hum becomes part of you. When the plane finally drops through the clouds, the light changes. Everything below is green. Endless, deep, wet green. You think of the photos you've seen in magazines, but the real thing feels alive, like it's waiting. The doors open. and heat slams into you. Not warmth, weight. You taste it before you breathe it. Sweat breaks across your skin before you even move. The runway buzzes with noise, shouting, engines, helicopters. Somewhere, a siren wails. The air smells of fuel and something sweet rotten you can't name. Soldiers step off another plane heading home. They look older, smaller, distant. Their eyes don't focus on anything. One of them glances at you, half smiles and mutters, "Good luck, kid." You want to ask him what he means, but he's already gone. You follow the rest of your group toward the trucks. The ground vibrates under your boots. The jungle edges closer the farther you drive. Every tree looks the same, but every shadow looks dangerous. By the time you reach the base, the sun is low. You unload gear, get your bunk, and listen to distant helicopters thudding through the sky. Someone says, "Welcome to Vietnam." Nobody answers. You lie on the cot, staring at the ceiling fan spinning above you, trying to imagine what tomorrow will bring. Sleep doesn't come. 3 days after arriving, they send you out. The briefing is simple, a 4-hour loop through the jungle. Find nothing, report back. You check your rifle 3 times. The metal feels too hot already. The air smells like mud and decay. Everything buzzes. Flies, mosquitoes, your own heartbeat. You move in a line, spaced out, eyes searching. Every branch looks like a weapon. Every shadow feels alive. Sweat runs into your eyes and stings. You wipe it away and keep walking. 2 hours in, it happens. A snap of a branch, then gunfire. You don't see the enemy, only leaves exploding, bullets cracking through trees. You hit the ground so hard your teeth clack. Your training takes over. Return fire. Don't think. Just fire. It lasts maybe a minute, maybe a lifetime. Then silence, so loud it hurts. Someone screams for a medic. Someone else laughs the kind of laugh that isn't really a laugh at all. You're still alive. That's the only fact that makes sense. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months. Patrol, eat, sleep, repeat. You learn to recognize the sound of incoming fire before you hear it. You learn how to keep talking while someone bandages a wound. You learn that fear can sit quietly beside you, like a companion. Letters from home arrive wet from the humidity. Your mom's words smell like soap. Your girlfriend's letters get shorter, then stop. You pretend not to notice. Jackson takes shrapnel in his leg and gets sent home. Tommy doesn't make it. Ruiz stops joking. You stop feeling surprised. Nights stretch long and sticky. You stare at the sky and try to remember what silence used to sound like. Sometimes you dream about home, but when you wake up, you can't picture it clearly. The edges fade. One day, you realize you haven't thought about your birthday. You were 18 when you arrived. You're 19 now. The year stole it without asking. You start marking a tiny line for each day on the inside of your helmet. 90 days left. 89. 88. You don't talk about the future anymore. The future is too fragile. You talk about food, sleep, and luck. The fear is still there, but it's quiet now. A hum in the background of your mind. You function on autopilot. Reload. Move. Check your buddy. Keep breathing. You see new guys arrive. Faces fresh and hopeful. You recognize that look. They see you and turn away. You don't blame them. The day comes quietly. No drums, no ceremony. Just a list of names. Yours is on it. You pack your bag. You touch the helmet with its faded marks. The helicopter lifts off and the base shrinks beneath you. A patch of mud and tents in an endless green sea. The airfield is filled with soldiers going home. No one talks much. Some stare out the windows. Some close their eyes. When the plane lands back in California, there are protesters outside the military base and near the terminal fences. They hold signs and shout words you can't quite make out. Some call you names you don't understand. You walk past them without looking up. You never felt so far from home as you do standing on its soil again. Your mom cries when she sees you. Your dad hugs you once, hard, then lets go. Your room looks smaller, like it belongs to someone else. Friends talk about college, and music, and cars. You listen, but you can't join in. Their voices sound distant, like they're coming through a radio that's slightly off tune. At night, you dream of the jungle. The smell, the noise, the moment before a shot. You wake up reaching for a rifle that isn't there. You tell yourself you made it back. You should be grateful. But the truth is, part of you never got off that plane. You look in the mirror and see a face you recognize, but don't quite believe in. 18-year-old you is gone. The letter took him. The war kept him. You gave a year of your life to Vietnam. But it took something you can't ever get back. Not time. Not youth. Something deeper. The part that used to believe the world was safe. And now you know it never was.